Well, time now for powerboats and the #1 offshore powerboat race in the world. It's the Benihana Grand Prix, staged over a 206-mile course off the coast of New Jersey. Now, 19 boats competed in this year's open class, and not one of them was valued at less than £45,000. Well, here now is the story of the race, described by Bill Toomey and Bill Wishnick, who first of all outlines the course for us.
We've got here a 206-mile course, not to scale, of our race today. Starting at Point Pleasant, Manasquan Inlet, up to Asbury, all the way out to Barnaget Buoy, out to Barnaget Light, back and forth, 206 miles, a lot of spectator fleet, 19 starting boats out of 22 original entrants. The seas now, they tell us, are 2 to 4 feet. It's going to be a rough race. It's going to be a slow race. I don't think the boats will average over 70 miles an hour, the winning boat. You've got, I think, today, 4 to 5 to 6 real contenders. You've got to rate the number 66 boat of Roger Penske and Bob Magoon, which is a 40-foot cigarette. Not as fast as the others, but with the length and with the experience of the crew, that's got to be a contender, the 66 boat. The 6 boat is Sammy James, a 38-foot Bertram. Sammy is as tough as anybody and has more racing under his belt than anybody in the fleet today. Sammy James and the number 6 Whitaker Moppy. You've got Joel Halpern in the 38-foot Beep Beep, number 81. 38-foot Cobra, again, a good experienced crew. Joel is leading for high points this year. His US won after 6 races with 4 to go. Got to rate him. You've got to rate Rocky Aoki and his number 4 35-foot cigarette, Benihana. It's a small boat, but Rocky and Hal Smith, his riding mechanic, have great experience. Rocky is 3rd overall in points and pushing. I think we'll see an interesting race. A lot of different weather conditions, head seas, following seas, beam seas, navigation. One point is 15 miles offshore, a little light. They've got to find it twice. We've got a little bit of overcast out there. It's not a clear day, and no more than 3 miles visibility, 3 to 4. That's part of experience, is finding it. And I look forward to an interesting and great race today.
As you can see, with the helicopters rousting about the boats up top, we have cameras in those helicopters. We're going to get some great shots. They're going now, Bill Wishnick, into the start of the race.
They're lining up as a flying start behind a pace boat, which you can't see. There's 19 boats. The pace boat's capable of about 60 miles an hour, and the flag will drop, the smoke will go off. It'll be an official start as they reach a starting point. They're running about 60 miles an hour now, lining up. Once they're in line and they're getting ready to drop the flag, they'll be go. And they're not quite yet, but they're getting ready, Bill. And there they go. The race is on now, officially. The race boat is in front, will pull off the course. Now, at the beginning of the race, the most important thing is to get the trim right so the boat runs at a steady angle rather than flying through the air. They're picking up now to about 70. Now they're all wide open, running about 85 to 88 miles an hour. There's Mike Doxford from England in boat number 77, Limit Up. Brand new boat, never seen it till the day before the race. Looks like Preston Hennon Streaker is going out in front, followed closely by Bob Magoon and Roger Penske on the 66 boat. Streaker's running beautifully in that kind of water.
There are 19 boats now that are starting out in this race, and of course last year they had a lot of problems. And perhaps you might want to mention that in this race it's not only the power and the speed of your boat and the driver that you have, but the elements are very important. And right now you can see that this is not a calm ocean to go on.
The seas are about 3 feet, but strategy is important. The fastest boat doesn't usually win. It's important to stay about a quarter of a mile behind, see who breaks down, see who gets lost in the bad navigation, then make your move towards the end.
That was Betty Cook just we had there for a flash, and that is Roger Penske and Bob Magoon right there, number 66.
Yeah, Betty Cook is the only woman driver. She's from Newport Beach, California, in the 89 boat Cama.
It's a neighbor of mine.
That's a nice place to be. There go the back, the boats in the back of the fleet through the start line now. That's Rocky Aoki and boat number 4, Benihana. You can see the water. The boats are fast enough to cross the waves. The length is going to mean a lot in this race, Bill. Shorter boats are going to fall between the waves, and the 38 and 40-foot boats are going to cross the waves.
So in rough water, it's good to have a lot of extra.
It certainly helps. It slows them down a little bit.
There's a good shot now, and you can see the helicopters, which are carrying some of our crew, but also they're monitoring the race.
There looks like about 18, 19 helicopters in the air for 19 boats. Now they're coming up now to Asbury Park. It's a complicated turn. Our rules say you must turn 290 degrees rather than 180 degrees for safety. Looks like Sammy James is off course a little bit. That's boat number 6, Sammy James, and is Whitaker Moppy. And on the inside there is Bob Magoon. Looks like he's going to turn the course first, the checkpoint first.
Magoon, of course, as you mentioned before the race started, is a top driver. He's come out of retirement. Penske, I guess, talked him into it.
He's been on the beach for 3 years. There's Streaker on the wrong side of the boat making the turn. Looks like he's going to get zapped on the turn by Bob Magoon.
That will cost him a little bit.
It'll cost him maybe 20, 30 seconds.
Magoon, as you said, is a sharp nautical man.
The best navigator there. Yeah, there go the boats around the checkpoint first. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4 of them ahead of Sammy James and Bertram Whitaker Moppy.
So that's part of it, is finding that turn properly. And of course, it's going to be, as the day goes on, it's going to be a little bit foggier out there, and it's going to be a lot rougher to find those turns, and that's where you lose a lot of these boats.
Well, not only that, but when you're coming up on a turn at 90 miles an hour and the visibility is only about 2.5 miles, you've got to find it quick and find it right.
They don't actually come out the day before and look over the course.
Some fly the course, but they work from charts, and they should follow their time distance. There goes Streaker catching up with Bob Magoon. Now, remember, Streaker turned that turn wrong.
Streaker, much flatter boat, it looks like, in a completely different configuration. Is that a more of a speed?
It's a 38-foot hull, whereas the 66 boat's a 40-foot hull. A little different underwater configuration, and notice how he's got his trim right and how he's going. Now, Magoon's a good strategist. You never know whether he's just backing off another 100 or 200 RPM and waiting to see what happens.
It's a good team. Roger Penske, Indianapolis driver, and Bob Magoon, who's had several championships. 3
times United States champion, retired, and this is first race. There's our first breakdown. Boat number 50, ISIS. It's a 35-foot cigarette with turbocharged engines, which have been causing a lot of problems. Gives them a lot of speed, but something's going wrong. Here they come, Bill, back through the slot here at Point Pleasant. They've turned to Asbury and come back 8 miles, and now they're going to run another 22 miles down the Barnaget buoy, about 5 miles offshore. It's going to be tough to find that buoy in this fog. Here comes Doc Magoon and Roger Penske through the slot, the 66 40-foot cigarette, number 66, running very nicely. The important thing in this racing is to keep the propellers in the water at all times. Once you jump, you lose speed. You have to throttle back and lose speed.
That's why Magoon is driving, because he's got a nice ability and
steady driving.
You mentioned his nautical talents are massive.
Here comes Joel Halpern and Beep Beep, and Preston Hennon. We've got Sammy James and the Whitaker Moppy, 38-foot Bertram coming through the slot now. There goes Doc going south, running very nicely. The seas are swelling, which is not good for the smaller boats, but the bigger boats, as I said, can cross the waves. Whoops.
It's a good example of what happens when you get out of the water.
What happens when you leave the water.
And that was Magoon, so that I don't think that happens too often to him, does it?
Well, it shouldn't in the 40-footer. There's Joel Halpern and Beep Beep running very smoothly. It's a heavy boat, not as fast as the other ones, but built for rough water. Even as you can see, they're splashing. There's Preston Hennon. Through the slot safely.
At the cost of $80,000, most of these guys, do they have more than one boat?
Some do. Oops, he almost lost it there. You see, splash, lost a little speed. Here comes Rocky and Mike Doxford from England, both in 35-foot cigarettes, both running very nicely.
As you mentioned before, this is Rocky's first year, and he's run several races already.
He's won 2 of the races on the circuit, of the 10-race American circuit. Rocky's here on the inside. Notice how he's keeping the props in the water. If he leaves the water, he's going to lose speed.
So you want to keep contact, just like in skiing.
All the time.
And that was contact.
There, and he's going to lose, as you see, the outside boat is...
That's a graphic demonstration of your point.
Faster, keeping the propellers in the water and pulling away.
So with experience, Rocky's going to be getting better and better.
Be good. That 707 boat's Arnold Glass from Australia, 36-foot cigarette, came all the way over. He's campaigning on the American circuit this year.
We have some Commonwealth entries, so
it's a little more competitive here than Australia. They're heading off in the haze down towards Barnaget Buoy, 5 miles offshore. There's a big heavy boat, a 40-foot Corsa, Impossible Dream. New driver, just bought it for this year. Bob Esposito running through the slot here. Running nicely, but fairly slowly in the heavy water.
And we have literally, cameramen everywhere, in the helicopters, on the ground, at Asbury Park, and they are taking some great shots for us.
Here they come up to checkpoint number 2 at 5 miles offshore at Barnaget. Bob Magoon, 66 Cam 2 oil special with Roger Penske in there. Right behind him is Joel Halpern and Beep Beep coming right up on him. The waters don't look too rough out here, but once they get further out, it's going to get rougher.
It's deceptive, isn't it?
Offshore. And right behind him is Sammy James. Really nicely. Looks like the hatch is open. I don't know why. And I got a feeling this is Mike Doxford, number 77 boat, a 35-foot cigarette from England. This fellow bought this boat sight unseen, flew in from a race in Italy 2 nights ago. Got on the boat for the first time yesterday. He's doing a super job. Never saw the boat before, never drove a 35-foot cigarette. Yeah, it is Mike Doxford from England.
So you get a lot of experience with a 206-mile course.
Well, it's a different boat. It makes each boat handles different. They made the turn now. They're going back down towards the slot again at Point Pleasant at Barnaget there. That would probably Point Pleasant and Manasquan. And in 4th place, coming up now is going to be, it's Rocky. Yes, it's our sponsor, Rocky Aoki, boat number 4, Benihana. Take the turn probably about a minute to a minute and a half behind, which isn't much in this type of water. He could be pacing himself. It's running very nicely.
And as you mentioned, part of this race is just staying on course and being cool and not necessarily being up front.
And waiting for the breakdowns.
Breakdowns?
Billy Martin is lit through the slot again, the 35. Well, there's Doc Magoon coming back to Point Pleasant after turning the checkpoint, but notice how far ahead he is. We've had radio reports from the checkpoints that the 2 other boats right behind him, Preston Hen and Rocky Aoki, missed the checkpoint in the heavy haze, went about 4 miles past, came back, circled, and probably lost about 7-8 minutes till they found him. So Doc now is using a strategy. I'm sure he's slowed up a good 5-6 miles an hour, saving his engines. He's dropped down probably 400 to 500 RPMs, cruising along and waiting to see who's coming up on him. You got to be dependable to finish. And Doc has taken the turn, is now heading south again. And here, coming up in the fog and the haze, looks like Billy Martin and boat number 16, the 35-foot cigarette. But he looks like he's wandering around in the checkboat fleet here, in the press fleet. I don't think he can find the checkpoint. He's coming in on us, and there's a lot of spectator boats around. He should be heading south now, but he's heading in. I don't know what he's looking for, but he's milling around in here. And we'll see what's going to happen with him.
Of course, one of the things that you mentioned...
He slowed down, he's looking around, and while he's looking, here comes Mike Doxford in boat number 77, taking the turn, turning around the checkboat, and swinging around south down to Seaside Park, about another 9 or 10 mile run. Billy Martin still is looking around in the haze here. And Rocky's taken the turn. Rocky Aoki, boat number 4, Benihana, has taken the turn successfully, 3rd or 4th, depending where Billy Martin is. There's Billy Martin. My God, he's in the spectator fleet. Our rules say off-plane. That's a severe infraction of the rules for safety, but he's running through spectator boats, and I don't know what the race committee is going to do with that. Rocky's headed south, and here comes Sammy James and the Whitaker Moppy in boat number 6, also heading south, now in 4th or 5th, depending where... what's happened with Billy Martin. As you can see, the haze is there, and there's Doc Magoon running smoothly, well ahead now.
That's the boat
pacing
right now.
himself.
Now, as you mentioned, he is a tremendous navigator, and of course, speed is important, but the navigation is a hallmark in this competition, and he is one of the greatest, and he has been making the turns first.
The radio reports we got from the checkpoint were that Preston Hen and Joel Halpern were ahead of him, but did not find the checkpoint, and probably took 10 to 12 minutes to find him. So Doc's moved ahead and is a good 5-6 miles ahead at this point. Okay, we're now down here at Barnaget again. Here comes Doc out of the fog, running very smoothly, pacing himself. Remember, the boats behind him are faster, though. The 35-foot cigarettes have higher top speed. Doc knows that, so he's running at the proper speed that he thinks will give him the edge and still give enough to
wave to the cameras
ahead. Here comes Sammy James and Whitaker Moppy coming right up on him now again. He's pushing it. He's tough. Been around many years. They have the strength to wave at us anyway. Mike Doxford from England in the 35-foot cigarette boat number 77 limit up, running a close 3rd now. They're all the 35s are starting to pull up on Doc's 40-foot boat, which is a little bit slower. They're running very smoothly, not too fast. I'd say they're running about 65 to 70 in this water, although the boat's capable of 85, 90 mile an hour top speed. Here comes Joel Halpern in Beep Beep, boat number 81. He's making the turn here at Barnaget. They'll be heading north again for the finish.
Last year, quite a few of the boats didn't finish. And were the reasons more breakdowns, or were they just nautical reasons?
Last year, the first 5 boats across the finish line were disqualified for missing a checkpoint. They did not find it. Here comes Rocky in 5th place, making the turn, behind Joel Halpern. Running maybe 30 seconds behind, but again, he's got speed on him.
At the checkpoints, they have to be visible. The number has to be visible.
The number must be visible, must be called for safety purposes.
There's a nice shot.
That's Doc running north now and heading towards the finish.
And there are the copters surrounding him. Our leader, Bob McGoon.
That's boat number 16, Billy Martin and Bounty Hunter. I remember Billy Martin's the one that went into the spectator fleet. He's picked up a lot of speed. All the boats burn off gas. They carry about 400 gallons of gas, and towards the end, they burned off 1,500 pounds of gas. They picked up RPMs. They picked up speed. Bob McGoon here is in 2nd place, but the 35-foot cigarettes are faster than the 40-foot cigarettes. Billy Martin's in 1st. Back to the slot, Doc McGoon and Roger Penske are 2nd, and the 66 boat back to the slot.
We'll wave to our cameras there.
They're all picking up speed, except the 40-footer is probably 3 to 4 miles an hour slower on the top end. Here comes Sammy James, and as Bertram Whitaker, moppy boat number 6, he's 3rd through the slot, really going. Well, his outdrives are out, his trim tabs are up, and he's going a good 85 miles an hour here. Again, the boats are lighter and faster at the end of the race. He's wobbling through the fleet there, finding the slot, going north to Asbury Park, 3rd through the slot. Here comes Rocky Aoki, boat number 4 in 4th place, coming through the slot. Remember, Billy Martin, who took the turn first, there is a question, we've heard on the radio, that there's a question whether he will or will not get the checkered flag for his rules infraction. There's a meeting going on right now by the race committee. So we've got Billy Martin in 1st, Doc McGoon in 2nd, Sammy James in 3rd, Rocky Aoki in 4th. Again, remember the 35-footers are faster, and they're all picking up speed on Doc McGoon. Billy Martin's passed him. Rocky's coming up on him. Joel Halpern here is in 5th, and Beep Beep, which is not a fast boat, it's a rough water boat. He's in 5th place through the slot, heading north to Asbury Park, running very nicely in this water. He's running maybe 81, 82 miles an hour. And here comes Billy Martin, taking the turn here at Asbury Park. This time he's found it. He's now got an 8-mile run north. An 8-mile run south to Point Pleasant to the finish. He's taking the turn correctly, going around the buoy, taking his turn slowly. If you turn too fast, you snap outdrives. He's taking his turn gently. He's now heading south to the finish. We've heard unofficially over the radio, Bill, that he will not, I repeat, not get the checkered flag.
This could be a big disappointment if he doesn't get it, I'm sure.
There comes Doc McGoon in 2nd with the faster boats still trying to catch him. You know, in 1970, I won this race. I was disqualified for passing too far away from a checkpoint. 2nd place boat was disqualified, and guess who was in 3rd place and was the ultimate winner?
Bob McGoon.
Bob McGoon.
Had to be.
First race he ever won in 1970.
Of course, he's in a similar position right now, but he doesn't know it.
He's run a great race, though. He's taking the turn he's running. He thinks he's in 2nd place. He knows he can see Billy Martin in boat number 16 ahead of him. Here comes Rocky in boat number 4. 3rd place through Asbury Park. He's going to take the turn and head south.
You mentioned that.
And picking up speed. He's picking up, he's fast. In this type of water, he'll be real fast.
We had 18 or so copters up there, and that becomes fairly dangerous. It would seem to me more so than for the boats.
Well, we're trying to keep the choppers up high. Our rule's now 150 feet. We've had a boat bounce a wave, go 25 feet up in the air, and hit the pontoon of a chopper, and we've had to change our rules. Here comes Billy Martin through the finish. He's so happy, but no checkered flag. He's turning around. He's going to go back to the official finishing boat to find out what happened to him.
Where's my checkered flag?
Here comes Doc McGoon coming down along the shoreline. He'll find the slot. Again, he's a great navigator, running beautifully. Boats behind him have not caught him. Sammy James is behind, but in the 8-mile run will not be able to catch him at 4 miles an hour faster. He's not going to catch him, pick up a half a mile in 8 miles. They're wiping their face there. The spray on the windshields blinds them. They've got to constantly do it, clean their shields. Here comes Doc through the finish, 2nd overall. He thinks he's 2nd overall. Billy Martin thinks he's 1st overall, but no checkered flag.
To get that flag, you don't know where you are, really.
There he is, and look, they're going to hand him the... Are they going to hand him the checkered flag? Yes,
yep,
he's got the checkered flag. He's not asking why. He and Roger Penske are delirious. They're waving the checkered flag as they're going to come in the inlet here at Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Billy Martin is still milling around, finding out what went wrong.
The checkered flag and the check are on the wrong boat, he thinks.
There it goes again. History repeats itself. The same thing happened in 1970. He's coming in the inlet here at Manasquan Inlet. Notice the people on the rocks.
This area really
fleet
comes
is coming in behind him.
And there at King's Grand End, thousands of people awaiting our winner, number 66, and there on the water is his apparatus, his $80,000 machine.
And a word of congratulations, I think, also to Britain's Mike Doxford, who finished third overall in his boat Limit Up, purchased only 48 hours before the race, would you believe, for $80,000.
The start of the